This is the Toyota Innova Hycross, and it's not the hybrid version of the MPV that currently has a long waiting period. Instead, what we have today is the non-hybrid petrol version of the MPV, and we'll be testing it today to tell you if it's the right Hycross for you. Now let's take a quick walk around at what this version of the Hycross gets. Firstly, it's still an Innova. That means it's got the good road presence, the size and the visual appeal of a big car. However, when you compare it to the higher variants, what's missing are the chrome embellishments, the ones which you see around the front grille, the lower half of the bumper and around the skid plate. However, you do get LED headlamps, but that's pretty much what you get. Now let's look at the side profile of the Innova Hycross. Toyota has kept it really simple and plain by adding no chrome bling. Instead, you get these body colored door handles and ORVMs. But what we really like about the Hycross from this profile is the sheer size. It's 4.7 meters long and it really shows. One thing which does not go well with this Hycross are these wheels. These are really small, 16-inch in size and doesn't go well with the car. But what you get are the bigger alloys if you opt for the higher variants. These are available in the VX and the ZX variants, which are 17 and 18-inch in size. The most expensive Hycross Petrol that you can buy is available only in the GX variant. It sits above the base G variant and it's evident from its positioning that the interior and the cabin is not very feature rich and it looks very basic and plain. The Hycross non-hybrid gets a fully black interior theme. However, Toyota has preferred dark and scratchy plastics inside the cabin and it's very much evident on the dashboard, around the center console area and even the door pads. While we know that these will last long, but it just doesn't feel as premium as one would expect in a 23 lakh rupee car. Also, we observed that the fit and finish in some areas was not up to mark. What we like though is the space on offer. The front row seats, they are big, supportive and comfortable. The touchscreen system here, it's an 8-inch touchscreen unit. It's nice and easy to use. However, there is no getting away from the fact that this looks very basic, almost like an aftermarket unit. This car makes use of a 2-liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine and it puts out 172 brake horsepower and 205 Newton meters of peak torque. There's no manual gearbox, but it comes paired only to a CVT unit. The engine is smooth, calm, refined and devoid of any vibrations and it's got enough of power for your everyday use. However, ask any more out of it and you are in for some disappointment. When you match the throttle or even go beyond part throttle, there is perceptible noise and the noise is not accompanied by a lot of speed. Now, to test the real world mileage, we usually fuel up the car to the brim and drive it on a dedicated route. However, for the petrol Hycross, we have gone a step further and tested it with two methods. One with 6 passengers on board and the second one with just the driver. In the first method with 6 passengers on board, the Hycross returned an indicated mileage of 8.2 kmpl, which went up to 11 kmpl when we did the same run with just the driver. Now on to the second method. In this one we followed our usual method of following a fixed city and highway mileage loop and the Hycross delivered 7.02 kmpl and 11.1 kmpl in city and on the highway respectively. We adopted the same method to test the performance of this Hycross Petrol. With the V-Box and 6 passengers on board, the Hycross clocked a 0 to 60 kmph sprint time in 6.85 seconds and a 0 to 100 km per hour in 13.91 seconds. The same test with only driver was fairly quicker with 0 to 60 kmph speed recorded in 5.93 seconds and 0 to 100 km per hour in 11.95 seconds. We also performed a rolling acceleration test, and here are the results with both the methods. Now that we have shown you the car and we know how it fares in terms of mileage and performance, the question is, what is the point of this petrol-only mid-spec Hycross? Well, there are some positives and some negatives to it. So let's go through them. We know that you want your Innova to look big and substantial, and this Hycross does take that. It gets this big and bold SUV-ish look, and the long length adds to the imposing road presence. The space that the Hycross has on offer in the second row is a big plus. You can have it as a 7-seater or an 8-seater. Today we have the 8-seater with us, which gets these bench type seats, and I'm seated here. The seat in front of me is set to my driving position. I am 5'5" and I've got acres of leg room here. Also, the AC vents, they are on the roof towards the side, and you can control them using the panel here. Also, you get 2 charging ports. These are Type C, but not fast charging, the regular ones. And if I want to be more comfortable, I can adjust these seats to and fro this way, and it also gets a recline function. It's very comfortable here. The third row in the Innova Hycross is honestly not a bad place to be in. I'm not in a knees up position, and my knees are not brushing to the second row seats. Also, the position here is comfortable and you can easily fit in 2 adults here. However, Toyota feels that you can also squeeze in a third person given the middle passenger headrest here and the 3-point seat belt. And if you wish to be seated in a more comfortable position, you get a recline function in the third row as well. And this can be operated and reclined back to this angle. And as for the convenience features, the last row passengers get cup holders on both the sides, a 12-volt socket on the left hand side, and aircon vents on both the sides. Now, as big as the Hycross may look, it is actually a very easy car to drive. With seat and steering wheel adjustments, finding an ideal driving position is very easy. What helps its case more is the big windscreen area, which aids outside visibility. Also, the controls fall to hand easily, the steering wheel is light, and this dashboard mounted gear lever is very convenient to use. Now, even though the Hycross rides on 16-inch wheels, it has a higher 65 aspect ratio tires, and this reflects surprisingly well on the ride quality. Not that it glides over the rough patches and undulations, but the ride quality is absorbent and it is never unsettling at any given point of time. The Hycross is definitely something that we would recommend going mile munching with. The engine is calm, composed and feels settled at highway speeds. Also, the space and comfort on offer will have no complaints from the passengers on board. However, there is one reason that you might want to rethink taking the Hycross on long journeys, and that's its fuel efficiency. This also brings us to the shortcomings of the Hycross. So the Hycross has a fuel tank capacity of 52 liters, and from what we have tested, it returns a mileage of 7.01 kmpl in the city and 11.1 kmpl while on the highway. And these numbers clearly indicate that it's not the most fuel efficient MPV around. In fact, it's the hybrid version that makes for a better highway choice. The Hycross Petrol cost 23.5 lakh rupees on the road Mumbai, and at that price tag, this MPV does feel lacking in many areas. Firstly, it looks basic on the outside, it has a cabin which feels dated, and it also misses out on some essential features like climate control, cruise control and an electric sunroof. Features that are available on cars well below the segment. And because of these shortcomings, we feel that the Hycross Petrol is somewhat of a compromise. But if you still want the true Hycross experience, we suggest getting you for the hybrid version. It offers superior performance with great fuel efficiency, a far better equipped cabin, ADAS features, and it's definitely worth the premium price tag.